Hey team, I really wanted just to create this video to give you a bit of a tool to help you go through and do your existing example analysis. I'm going to do this analysis on the video that you can see the little thumbnail of there. This is just a YouTube video about someone making this small folding stool. So this is the one I've selected. I'm going to go through Access FM on this product. Once I've been through Access FM on it, I'm going to write the short paragraph, which is really going to summarize my thoughts. I'm going to try and use the peel paragraph structure. We'll see how I go with that, because it's not something I normally do, but I think I can probably do it pretty effectively here. So to start with, you can see that I've put in an image of the product. It's always great to have a fairly large image when you're doing this for a task. I've put in where that product has come from, so the web link, which is helpful as far as sharing my sources, and I've put in the title from the video, so it's a little one called Folding Stool there. I might even make that slightly larger, maybe I'll use subtitle for that. Now we'll just go back to normal, and we're going to use Access FM to start with. So if you can't remember Access FM as far as what the acronym means, those are your 8 different letters there, and we're going to start with aesthetics. So when I look at this particular stool, the things that stand out to me aesthetically are light coloured timber, visible grain, simple design, smooth surfaces, slight dish to the seat. Right, so those are the obvious things that stand out to me, and this is made a lot easier by watching a video about a product. So I would suggest that when you are doing existing example analysis, where you can find a YouTube video of the product being made, that's going to help you with a lot of the information that you're going to find in here. The next letter we have here is cost. So for this, I don't really know how much this costs. I know they use scrap wood, so I'd probably indicate low cost due to the use of scrap timber, some hardware added, and that was screws and nails. So that's a cost, specifically the manufacturing cost. I could indicate what I think it would sell for, so I might say estimate sale price of let's say $30 to $50, depending on who was selling it, what timber was, those sorts of things. The customer for this product, which is our second C here, someone who needs a small portable stool to take with them, such as a camper or someone heading to the local sports ground to watch a game. That's the sort of person I can imagine wanting a stool like this. Someone who wants something that's easy to carry around, quite portable, but also reasonably comfortable. E is for environment. Now for this, in the case of this particular product, because I know it's made from scrap timber, I could say something along the lines of use of scrap timber makes this an environmentally friendly design, keeping the waste timber from being burnt or put into landfill. I can also talk about the finish on this product, as it has an eco-friendly finish. Finish is a hard wax oil. Now I only know that because that was talked about in the video, so sometimes that's harder to know. The size of this product, small stool, low to the ground, but comfortable enough to sit on for a short period. Probably wouldn't want to do it for too long. Next one is safety. In this particular product, I'd probably indicate some possible pinch points, because it does fold down. It could pinch where those areas come together. Points all edges have been softened or rounded, and I'd probably say, as far as safety, can hold a lot of weight, because in the video the person who's made it stands on top of it, so fairly strong. Now we've got the last two, so function, a small stool to sit on, folds up easily and is light. That lightness could also come into size, by the way. And function could also be used to stand on to reach something up high, although not particularly stable. Stable-ish, but wouldn't be an overly stable design. Finally, material. In this case, scrap timber would be the loose term. I happen to know that the timber used in this case is called camphor laurel, which is a weed timber in Australia, so definitely not a particularly wasteful material, I suppose. I could also indicate that it's got a hard wax oil finish, bolts, nails, screws also involved in the design. Oh, and probably glue, wood glue. So there's my basic rundown of Access FM. Now by doing that, I've got a pretty comprehensive review of that product. In some cases, I have made some judgments. So things like keeping the timber waste from being burnt or put into landfill, right? That is a comment that is responding to the idea that it's environmental. It's not just stating a fact, it's sort of going into that a little bit deeper, giving some judgment. Same with the customer comments here. So I've already made some comments which allude to not just identifying features, but reviewing the product itself and the features that have been put into it. If I wanted to take this further, I'd now write a short paragraph, something like a peel paragraph would be great, where I'd try and combine these ideas into one coherent thought process. Now I'm going to start this with a key point. My key point in this task is going to be that recycled materials can be great for making attractive and high quality products. So I'm going to say something along the lines of Paskmakes has demonstrated that using waste materials doesn't always mean that an inferior product can be, or inferior product is produced. This is achieved with attractive timber that has been constructed thoughtfully into a functional and well built item. This stool meets a variety of customers' needs, such as campers and those looking for something comfortable, small and portable. The folding design makes for a compact product, compact item when not in use. What else might I say here? That is also safe to use due to its robust design. all in all, the choice to utilise waste material is significantly beneficial, reducing waste being burnt or ending up in landfill. There are, and this is going to be my linking statement now that I've elaborated on or given evidence for my elaborations. There are some great ideals here that I'd like probably to include in my own design. I like the idea of reducing waste and reusing where I can. Right, so I've gone from basic identification in some of these statements to some review of the product through these here, and now I've made a really in-depth review which has considered the design really effectively and would achieve me quite a good grade for this, because I'm writing that peel paragraph, I'm making a key point that I think is really important, and I'm also backing that up with some elaborations and some evidence. I'm also linking it to my overall ideals. Now, if I was evaluating or reviewing products that are very close to what I'm hoping to perhaps produce or to meet my need, problem or challenge, then my linking statement should link back to those points. Right, so that's how we write a really great review of a product. And later on we could remove this information up here if we didn't feel we wanted to submit that in our final submission. Certainly if we didn't think we had the word count, we might go, okay, well this is 126 words. This area here is another 169. Maybe I'd get rid of all this now that I've given my final remarks there. That also would reduce my word count and demonstrates a higher level of thinking. So that's how we go about doing a really good product review. Alright, especially when we're trying to really nail down onto the things that are important to us and what we would like to include in our own designs at some point. Hopefully this video has been really helpful for you. Please consider writing something like this, taking the time to do that, being thoughtful about what it is that you are trying to create and how that existing example has benefited you. Thanks.